Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. This time we've got the second tournament game from round 2 of the World Tournament, and I have guest GenericPie with me.
Hey everyone, what's up? It's me, GenericPie.
We'll be doing our second cast here of the second game. The first game was a good one. I think you will all enjoy it on his channel. I'll have the link in the description of the video, so you can go check that out. Here's your last chance to not have that game spoiled for you. And I was able to lose as the Free Peoples, despite a very fun do line. So this game, I am Shadow.
And I am the Free People.
Let's jump into it then. So you start with Guards of the Citadel and Grey Company. Guards is good, at least playable for sure.
It's like the one issue with having guards early is if you do play it, it can scare people off going Gondor, which isn't always what you want to do. Sometimes you prefer people to go for Gondor and rather than going elsewhere. So I wasn't like thinking, yay, I can't wait to play that, but it's my only playable card, so probably going to play it early.
Yeah. And I had a pretty good hand, Pitts and Black Captain. Black Captain's a little early, but good to have in general.
Yeah. I mean, two great cards. Pitts and Mordor's a great early card, and Black Captain. Yeah, I mean, you'd probably rather have the other
musterings
fly around the place and do an attack card, but Black Captain's still great.
All right. Well, since it's a tournament game, there were no tokens, so we go ahead, Fellowship okay. And I decided to go with 0 eyes. Do you have thoughts on that, GenericPie?
I don't do it myself. I totally see why people do it. I just don't like the feeling of when you do it and then you mean this happens.
This happens? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, obviously it does give you like a boost militarily, but in this case you've rolled a bunch of Palantirs. And like, for example, I played a game against Wirbelwind recently, and the odds are very low, but she rolled 0 eyes and I rolled 4 sea dice.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I just laughed. I was like, this is ridiculous. This is so stupid. And of course, the argument against it will be, well, maybe you put 1 eye or 2 eyes in, and then you still don't hit. And then you feel like you've wasted 2 dice anyway. But it just feels so much nicer.
Well,
to have,
and there's effectively no way 4 Cs makes 4 movement, right? Against even 1, you're gonna roll a 4 on the 4 check.
Yeah, you're likely to. Yeah, I mean, you like the odds are definitely, I don't know what they are, but we've all seen it so many times. The 1 eye. So many games, someone rolls a 6 on 1 eye. It just happens.
Yeah. Especially when you're playing
Loam. So it gives you that chance. Exactly, especially when you're playing Loam. Totally.
Well, anyway, so here we go. So,
what do you think, by the way?
Sorry. So I've played a couple games, not that recently, but a little bit ago, where I was just muster starved. I don't think I made videos of most of them, but like round 4, I've had 3 musters and hybrids combined, and those suck. So I'm playing a bit of a anti to that just because it's been happening to me recently. I think 1 eye. I mean, when you see this, and especially since we just played this game, you see this and you get hurt the other way, and so you start going back to 1 eye. 1 eye probably.
Yeah, I mean that's a good counter
sit.
argument. Yeah. Sorry, I was going to say that. No, that's a good counter argument. Is like every eye that you put in is effectively a chance of fewer of getting a muster. So musters are so valuable. So yeah, I think that's a strong argument for doing this strategy as well.
Yeah, and it's only like I think I ran the math. It's like 1 in 8 games they will have 3 movement or more, and don't trust that number, but that's where I was in my head. And then if they give you a ring for the 4th, it's not even that bad. So I was kind of thinking,
and then a bunch of those games where that happens, you'll roll some eyes anyway. So you'll roll 1 or 2 eyes anyway. So yeah, for it to happen like this is pretty freakish. Probably like, I don't know, I'm just picking numbers out here, but like a 1 in 20, 1 in 30 kind
something like that. Yeah. Which maybe is an argument to not do it in tournament games, but we'll see. All right, so in we go. We talk a bit about that as a silly thing that happened. So with just Pits of Mordor as a playable card, I'm going to go ahead and draw. And I draw New Powers Rising. So excellent first draw.
Great card, yeah. Great card.
You pass. I'm going to put Isengard to war. You don't have a will. I did think, if he has mirror, I am going to be sad. But I guess he can't even kill Gandalf this round, so never mind.
I
So
guess I could make Gandalf leave.
yeah. I start to play pits, and then I think, oh wait, Sauron's not at war, so I can't do that. So instead I draw, and I get Rage of the Dunlendings. So first two draws is New Powers Rising into Rage of the Dunlendings.
Pretty awesome. Yeah.
The
Pretty
Shadow
powerful,
Player
pretty great
version
cards.
of what I did last game with the Free People, right?
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
go,
I've had it done before. I think I had one game, I can't remember who it was against, where I think they used a New Powers Rising, Worm Tongue, Rage of the Dunlendings,
oh jeez.
and fighting Uruk-hai within like the first two turns. I was just like, well, that happened, and
So much for Rohan.
say I did not win that game.
You move for free. I go ahead and put Saruman in. You move for free. I go ahead and play New Powers Rising.
Nice.
You move for free. And I actually go ahead and just go forwards, because you can't get Gandalf right now, and you can't kill Gandalf right now. So
Yeah.
I'll at least have 2 dice warning when it does happen, and I can get Helm's Deep under siege with nothing there. So I go ahead with no card. I'm going to want to play all these other cards. I guess I could have. No, Falstench is Nazgul, right? Yeah. So I don't think those are worth burning here.
I think it's a perfectly legit strategy in this situation. I mean, Gandalf looks like he could be a way away. You know, you've got the early New Powers Rising, and you've got the kind of insurance of Dunlendings.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you got options basically. Yeah, I think it's a really nice play.
Ford's no card. You no card, but I get 1 hit, so that's nice, but nothing back. That's also nice. You, of course, retreat to Helm's Deep. I empty Isengard. And you think about a ring. This is kind of what we discussed earlier. You go ahead and give it to me, so you're through Moria.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't have done it if it would meant that you would be able to get a minion this turn.
Oh, yeah.
I would have instead, because it's a tricky one. You're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. Like if you don't do it and then you end up losing by 1 movement, you're like, God, if only I'd used that ring in the first turn, got that free movement.
Yeah.
Or you miss out on Mordor by 1 move and then you feel stupid. But on the flip side, it's like this is, it's dangerous not doing anything else in the game except running with the hobbits. It's a dangerous thing to do. And I could have played guards. I could have cycled. I had options.
Since Gandalf is in the lead too.
That's it. That's another thing. Like if it was just guards, I wouldn't have done it. But the fact that it has the cycle, gives you a little bit of a kick up the arse militarily. So potentially, you could just draw something awful. But yeah.
Although the strategy deck is going to be a little better in general.
Totally.
Yeah, I'm of course happy to have a ring, although I wish you weren't 4 movements out. So I go ahead and hit HD, and so as usual, Rohan just sits there like, "Yep, that's fine, that's cool."
Yep, they're pretty used to it by now.
So I get Phlox. I was pretty happy with that as a draw. Might be able to hit you with that. You get There's Another Way. That's nice and early for you. And Red Arrow. Oh, wow. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of like, there's another way to, like, they're not, like, the Red Arrow now, when you've already gone for Rohan, is kind of awkward.
Yeah, and Gondor's not active.
Gondor's not active, and There's Another Way, as you said, like, super early. So, yeah, kind of awkward cards.
Yeah. And I get Return to Valinor, so a Deadly Strife.
Right.
That's nice.
Yeah, that's really nice.
I put 1 eye. I figure this is going to be a bit of a race game. Sometimes I like to put a few more eyes when it's right through Moria, but especially with Gandalf in the lead and you kind of want to kill Gandalf, I don't feel a great need to do any more than 1.
Yeah, I think when the Fellowship's had such a fast start, I don't know, I imagine your best bet is just to try and be faster.
Yeah.
I think if you try and try and slow me with corruption, you might just not win. It might just mean your military's a little bit too slow.
Yeah. By picking some of both, you get neither.
Exactly, yeah.
So 1 eye, pretty decent roll, 1 more in. A lot of musters, but actually that's nice right now. And just 1 movement for you.
Musters, great. Yeah, that's sweet. So, yeah, I mean, I mean, I would have preferred if these were hybrids at least to give me a bit more flexibility,
Sure,
or
sure.
at least one hybrid in there. But I do need to do some mustering, so it's not the worst roll, but it's not a good roll.
Yeah, and with nobody at war, I mean, you could put Rohan to war, I guess, but meh, it's a little
Yeah,
awkward.
yeah.
And for me as
If
well,
I
I'm,
put a
I'm
rat to war, though, it gives you the Witch King.
exactly, yeah, and I'm looking at
So
my dice
that's a
thinking,
trap in
how do I
itself.
get Witch King with these dice if I can? But I didn't plan that very well, as we'll see. So I put Sauron to war. You
Hmm.
pass. Uh, yeah, I mentioned I need to think. That we'll see how that worked for me. Uh, I go ahead and play Pits. My thought. What was my thought here? Just I'm gonna hit two places. Oh yes. Since I have Rage, I'm gonna go for Rivendell, especially since you're not declaring out. And so two more guys in Moria, and then I go ahead and put some in Minas Morgul and Dol Guldur in anticipation of hitting Lorien and eventually Gondor. So I think that was a efficient play. I didn't play the Palantir because that's going to be the Rage card. So
Yeah, I thought that was. I mean, yeah, I think as soon as you get Sauron to war, play pits, and then any half movements you do, you're going to have. It's just going to be much more efficient. So yeah, I think that
yeah,
was
yeah.
really smart thing to do.
You move safe.
Blessed hobbits today.
So I go ahead and Rage. There's the two free ones. I think about this, and I end up leaving the two guys in the south in anticipation of maybe coming down to help Rohan or protect Isengard,
Mm.
as opposed to putting the onesies in North Dunland or the spares in North Dunland.
I
For
think this is a really interesting play what you've done here because I think a lot of people would have been tempted. Like I think that the kind of probably the default play that most people do is they they try and take over Rohan and as through doing that get the Witch King.
mm-hmm.
But it's a dangerous thing to do because I'm holding that many musters. Like,
Yeah, if you didn't have musters, I'd be doing that all day. But
yeah,
three musters, the first thing I do, you make two elites in Edoras, or two regulars in Fold in
exactly,
Edoras, and
exactly.
I'm never gonna kill that with what I got. And the next thing you know, Orthank's under siege, and yeah,
And also, you're taking advantage of the fact that you have Dunderlings, and I can't get anyone in Rivendell
yep.
because I'm exactly 3 steps away. So
And I'm
it
figuring I
puts me
can
in a
put,
really awkward spot.
and I figure I can get Lorien under at the same time with a nice stack from Dol Guldur if I can swing it. So
Yeah, if it works out perfectly, yeah.
So that was good. Good for me at least. You put the elves closer to war in
Because I'm
obvious
thinking I'm
anticipation of
going to be
this.
able, if I do this, I'm going to be able to get at least one elite in,
Yeah. Yeah, and that makes
assuming I roll a muster next turn.
either stack, annoying.
Yeah.
You go ahead and put the elves more to war. I try to bring in the Witch King. You remind me that no one is at war. So we undo that. Speaking of thinking, yeah. Then I just go and do the movement. Um, in case, I'll save the muster in case you put someone to war. You obviously won't do that. So you put Gondor
Yeah.
down.
And I just think, like, well, in this situation, I mean, looking back, you're gonna. Oh, obviously, yeah, things I can't move Rohan down because I can't do
You can't
anything
give
because
me
I will
Witch
just.
King.
I'm just not going to give you Witch King. So yeah, it's put me in a bind. So the next best thing is Gondor.
Yeah. Yeah. So then I go ahead and just bring Southrons down. They'll need to come eventually, so nothing else. I mean,
Yep.
I could put a guy in Orthanc, but meh.
I was
So,
wondering if you might use a ring to like put, say you put like I think there's two benefits to doing this, right? If you put Rivendell under siege, it means there's rerolls on the Fellowship, so it
mm,
encourages me to declare straight away, so I don't get a free movement. And then also, there's a chance I don't roll any musters next turn, and that really screws me because I might have like a Will of the West, but then it's like, do I use the Will of the West to muster, or do I?
oh no, yeah,
Um,
that's a really good idea. I think at the time I just blanked on having a ring, despite getting it one turn ago. I think that's a good point. That's probably the better play there. The only other thought was I was hoping for some miracle where you don't have any musters, and I put both under siege. Because if I'm going to want to put Rivendell under first, and then just take
Sure.
my time defeating Lorien, because three elites in Rivendell might actually hold a 10-0.
Yeah.
Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe.
That's true. Without any elites in there, or it's at the very least it could be very slow for you.
Yeah. So I think you might be right there. That might have been the better play. So
Also, the other thing was like I was thinking like the other big risk is if it gave me the chance to draw into a power to great.
oh yeah, yeah,
Because
that would have
imagine if I'd done
sucked.
that, if you'd been in this exact situation and you hadn't done any attacks, and then I play powers to great, and then you're like, oh, then you have to give up two great cards, and then I can muster in, maybe at least one
Well,
more
you'd do
guy.
both if you
I'd
had
be
it.
two guys. I could get two musters, couldn't I?
Yeah, if you had the dice for it. Yeah,
Yeah, so I think
that would have sucked.
that alone probably warrants using the ring. I think that risk is so big.
Yeah, good point. Good point. I get candles and musterings of long planned war, so desperate battle. And you get Gwaihir and help unlooked for, so
Yeah, so
still
kind of
pretty
like
rough draws.
yeah, not bad cards per se, but not great cards for this situation. Like a no quarter, it's a hit, but I need more than a hit.
Yeah,
in
and Helm's
these
Deep's
these
not going to get
strongholds.
saved with it.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't even have any like guys on the board to use Guahir with yet.
So, yep. We go in. I just put the one eye where it's some variety of a race game, and one more rolled. So, little high on Palantirs, but still good, and you get good roll, all things considered. I mean, you would like a will
Yeah,
just in case, but
I think that's for this situation. I mean, I guess I'd probably prefer like, maybe like two C's and a will, two characters and a will, and a hybrid. That would have been
yeah,
nice.
yeah.
But it's not a bad roll.
You go ahead and move him so that I don't get rerolls on you. That's pretty
Yep.
good and safe. And so the thought process here was I actually kind of prefer you didn't have. If I can get you to put your musters somewhere else, I'd actually really rather they were in
Yeah.
Rohan than elves. And
Yeah,
this
I
lets me
think
get
that
the
makes
Witch King
sense.
in. So
Because if you by doing the two attacks like concurrently, you put me in this tricky situation where it's like, where do I use the dice? Do I use them in Rohan? Do I use them in the Elven strongholds?
yeah, yeah. So Rohan to war, and with this Helm's Deep, I should be good. I played a card. We'll just go ahead and see what I play. Probably the Desperate Battle. Yeah, and then you go ahead and burn a no quarter. Try and whittle me down.
Yeah, I was figured like I've got a full hand. I'm gonna have to get rid of something at some point, and maybe this is like if I get lucky, get three hits, and you get none somehow, and then I could be like genuinely cause you problems.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you have Red Arrow. If I bring in Witch King, you can use it. Yeah, you have some good options here. So, excuse me. I go ahead and get my rolls though because of Desperate Battle. So glad I used it, and you get one back. So or three back, excuse me, because of no quarter and Desperate Battle. So 3 hits is good, but Helm's Deep down.
Elms deep down.
That movie coming next year. You go ahead and interesting the double muster. I guess you just don't want me to have the free half move onto Westham now.
Yeah, I didn't want the because I thought maybe what you're going to use with the rest of your dice is try to basically take over. Well, there's a
Edoras.
chance you might try and take over Rohan. I was kind of hoping you would. So I was thinking what might happen is if you attacked into there, I can scouts away, then I can muster, and
Oh
then I
yeah,
have either I can muster into fold, and then it causes you have to take that over, or I muster back into Edoras. So either way, I waste one of your half dice. So I keep saying muster, I mean scouts.
yeah,
Um, I scouts away, and then I can muster with the other die.
yeah.
So
You have a good hand for that. That would certainly make that sad.
yeah, I was totally hoping that you would kind of take the bait in a way and just think, "Oh God, I need to take Rohan now before it gets too big." But you wisely, well, we'll see.
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead and bring in Witch King. So I really want to get the rerolls on the Fellowship. So everybody activates. red arrows in play, but you really need to save the die for wherever I hit the
Yeah, I'm
elves.
committed. Really, I can't really use that die in Rohan anymore.
So draw a card to get kings revealed. That'll be a relentless assault
Let's have a
someday.
look at your hand. So
Yeah.
okay, great. Yeah.
So some good cards. I certainly have like the Deadly Strife is gonna be nice here in a hot second. So and Black Captain commands. Now he's in play. I can use my
Beautiful.
Palantir for the attack. So I've been drawing hot on the cards effectively. So go ahead and put Rivendell. So I decide to take one easy battle in Rivendell and one pretty difficult battle in
I
Lorien
think
instead of
that's the
two
wise.
middles.
I think, yeah, I think you did the right thing. I think Lorien's easier. It has cards like Durin's Bane that are
Yep.
like Lorien specific.
Or
It's
Shadows on
easy
the
to
Misty
reinforce.
Mountains. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got Shadows of the Mountains. You can easily reinforce it with the Shadow Lengthens, which you can't in Rivendell. So there's so many benefits to doing what you did here. Yeah.
So get you under. You of course spend the other dice in Lorien. I put that under before that gets to be a problem, and you move. So nice that I get the rerolls on you because I needed them. So
And I'm kind of
first
happy.
hit,
I'm like, in a way, like I want Gandhi to die here, so it was
yeah,
actually kind of nice that you got the reroll on me before I moved.
and a 3, just icing on the cake.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, so that was some good luck for me.
Strider is the lead. Yeah, and I realized after I was sitting there waiting for you to reveal. I was like, oh, right.
Not happening.
So I
But
go
yeah,
ahead and take Rivendell if I can.
yeah, but by having the rerolls on me, it encourages me to reveal out. So there is one benefit. You're gonna be able to play cards on me because I'm gonna leave Rivendell.
Yep, yep. So I choose a strategy. I go ahead and do Relentless. I've got the bodies to burn, so get some hits in while I'm not going to take any, and then I just roll 5 hits. So that just solves
Yeah,
that problem.
beautiful. I'm
One
not
bad.
sure if I would have gone for the strife or the relentless assault, but
I figured the Relentless Assault. I had the bodies to burn here, like I said, and I find that in other battles I tend to not, especially like if it's going to be in Rohan or something.
yeah, that's true. Um,
Because the
I
most you were going to
guess
do is 2 hits. I
so,
do 2 to
yeah, I think
myself.
whatever happens when I only do 2 hits back, it always is harder.
Because I'm taking
I think,
5 50/50s plus whatever I get on the reroll.
yeah, I think I would have gone for the strife personally, just on the off chance, just because you're killing your own guys to do it, and like
Yeah.
if I think if this goes south for you, if it had gone south for you, like say you just rolled a bunch of
Yeah, just
ones
ones.
and threes,
Yeah, yeah.
then you kill 2 guys, and then I get 2 hits back, and suddenly you've got six HP versus 4 HP,
Yeah, yeah.
and suddenly you're
Then
like,
you're
oh
sad.
crap. Whereas a strife, like at least you're not killing your own guys. But I mean, like it worked out great. So I mean,
Yeah.
I'm kind of nitpicking here.
Yeah. I take the 1, get the victory points, and I do not remember the Witch King draw. Shucks.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, so I draw into Shelob's Lair and Many Kings in the normal draw phase. Many Kings is, of course, excellent to see here. And we'll touch on the missing the draw in a sec here, but you get Eagles Are Coming. Man, your draws.
getting all the
Dane's.
sweet cards.
Man,
Yeah, and Dane, like I love Dane. I think it's a great card, but in this situation, like you're begging for a Ketterborns or a Power 2 Great or
yeah.
even like I don't know, Woodland or the Woodland Realm one.
Thronduil, yeah.
Randuil's Archers, yeah, not
King
Dane
Bran's
really.
Men.
King Brands would have been
Imrahil.
sweet. Yeah,
Yep. Any of the Rohan ones.
yeah, Kid and Ships would have been sweet potentially.
So you end up throwing Grey Company, as is its lot in life.
Yeah,
We recover, and is this when I... Yep, you declare the Fellowship out, of course, so you don't have to take the hit through Moria. Now, why'd you go through to Druiden?
I mean, what other options do you have? Really, I guess you can go to like Ishkanimul.
Yes, because if you do that, then Stormcrow won't work, and you're not going to stop in Minas Tirith.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, I didn't even think about Stormcrow. Yeah, good shout, actually. I didn't think about Stormcrow
Okay.
at all. Yeah. I think the reason I did it was because it's easier to evacuate dudes
Oh,
into
yeah.
Minas Tirith and Dol Amroth from the here. So if I did hypothetically want to send, I don't know, like Boromir to Dol Amroth or something,
Yep. Or
this
Crown
gives me that
even.
option. Or even Crown, yeah. If I want to defend, this would have given me that choice. So that was more my thinking.
Yeah, that's a good point. So a bit of 601, half dozen of the other. It's a race game,
Totally,
so it's a
yeah.
little bit. Do you
And to
have
be honest, like if
time?
you're playing Stormcrow against me, like I'm not. That doesn't break my heart. Like,
Yeah, yeah. And I guess the only argument against separating right now is Gandalf's not in, so you're already pre-spending a will if you ever roll one.
yeah, yeah,
So you're not
exactly.
going to be crowning right now. But anyway, interesting decision making. Uh, yeah. So we'll see if I ever remember my draw. But both, I think both for this game, or rather for this game, it's a tournament game. So I missed it. It's gone. So, and I think that's totally fair.
Yeah, so like I don't know, maybe some people think it's a bit stingy, but the way I see it is like it's just one of those like in a friendly game, in a ladder game, like totally fine, let anything go. But in a game like this, I'm kind of it's in the rules, so I'm just going to stick to the
No,
rules.
yeah,
And I know like people can use your kindness against you as well. So if you get in the habit of giving people, then in the next game, then someone goes, "Oh no, no, you're not having that redraw," and then you're like, "Ah, crap."
yeah, yeah. Well, and as you say, there's different calibers of game. We're playing about the highest you can get, certainly in the Java app, and there's no harm, no foul. So, yep. I go ahead and put one eye. We're in the race, so I'm just gonna try and race you. I roll a bunch more eyes though, so it's actually kind of nice. Maybe stall you out of Mordor for a round,
Yeah.
and you get enough movement to do it with a ring. So 4 eyes is actually kind of nice here.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Like, would you mind looking at my hand a sec?
Yeah.
Just to think, like, do I have any other options here? Like, what could I do if I decide not to make a mad Mordor dash? Like,
Yeah, I
could
mean,
I
Red Arrow, I guess.
Red Arrow then? But I can't even muster in really. And yeah, then you'd need a big Rohan army to even consider taking down.
Sure, but maybe you
Um,
threaten taking Orthanc, or you just waste my time. But it'd be a lot to retake all that.
Actually, you know what I've just remembered? Another reason why I put the guy in Eastern Mech, 'cause I thought if you attacked me, I could scouts to Fords of Eisen and then try and take over Orthanc.
Oh yeah, that'd be.
Just
Man,
to
I'm
try
glad I
and
didn't do that. That would have
yeah.
sucked.
Because I was thinking like this could be a way of wasting your time, making you paranoid, open up military options. So that was part of the reason I did that as well.
Oh man, that.
Um,
Yeah, if I hit Westamnet, you scouts take Orthanc. Bam, no more leadership. Saruman's
and it
dead.
was like the end of the turn as well, so I was gonna have the first move next turn. I
Although
think.
actually,
If
I
that's...
I don't think Saruman dies, right? Because he only dies to Ents, and if he
No,
defends with an
he would have
army.
lived.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
Saruman would have lived, but it would have just like opened up, military options potentially.
Yeah. Well, that. Yeah, I'm glad that
Anyway,
didn't happen.
yeah.
No will for you, so that's nice. Um, and no musters for you, which is actually the more important thing in my
Yeah,
mind.
that's kind of the awkward one. Like, if you do want to like prolong the game, the turn where I got the musters was the turn where I had to use them all just to get the elves near to war. So it
Yeah.
didn't even feel like I actually did that much with them in a way.
Yeah. Yeah. That they can. Yeah. Straight musters early are nice, but also they kind of feel bad.
Yeah.
You go ahead and move, and it's a safe move, so that's good for you. 4 dice, it's a little sad to miss, but going for a 6, it's thoroughly reasonable. I go up and play a card. Many Kings. Yep, because I'm gonna want to hit the north and go ahead and make a full stack down in the south. So
Hmm.
second move, kind of exploratory. Well, let's see if we can hit Mordor, and you get it, and it's a 0 reveal. So
Which is to be expected.
yeah, a
I mean,
reveal
with
is
the
nice to
zero is
hit.
lucky, obviously.
Yeah, let's take a look at the
But
hunt.
yeah, the reveal helps you.
Yeah, a little better than half to reveal,
Hmm.
and I guess get the 0 gone. But at this rate, you're never getting to Gollum anyway, so an eye would have been nice. But yeah,
Yeah, and the other option is just like, what am I even going to do with that Palantir anyway? Like, if I
yeah,
don't go to Mordor at this point, I could have. Well, we'll see.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. So I considered strongly just sitting an army on top of you, but I'm going to get 4 dice for 4s. If you do move again, the 2 rerolls are probably not going to do anything. So I go ahead and put the Southrons and Easterlings to war. You flip with Strider, and I start moving out to go take stuff. So
Yeah, and this puts me in a bind because I'm like, and I'm not sure if it was here, but at some point you mentioned about having great cards. And I'm like, oh my god, have you got Corsairs as well?
yeah, I've been drawing hot. And if you weren't so far along, Candles and Shelobs would both be good, but I just don't have. I figure I don't have time.
Yeah, and
Maybe
it's
for
like,
Shelobs, but with the hunt pool, 14 tiles deep, never gonna hit it.
yeah,
So you pass. I go ahead and threaten Dale, and you do give me the ring. Move is hit. 2 reveal from an eye is good. You of course take the corruption, and the second draw is an eye. Yeah, but
of course.
at least it's going right back in.
Yeah,
So
and
turn
I
4,
mean,
you've made Mordor. Turn 4, I go ahead and spend the ring. I've got double rings, so no strong thing. I want to get Dale under. You spend your
yeah.
scouts
So
here.
now I use my scouts naturally. I just kind of think like it's such a tricky situation as free people in this time because like obviously I need to do something militarily to survive,
Hmm.
but at the same time it's like, are you really like the only option I've really got here is like using a ring to put an elite in Woodland Realm and thus giving up a turn in Mordor.
Oh yeah,
Like,
yeah. Ugh.
and that feels horrible. But I feel like that's kind of the only thing I can do, like militarily here, to try and give
Yeah.
myself a chance in the Woodland Realm.
You could
I
have done
don't really know.
something super wacky, like put the Iron Hills guy in front of me, but that's not going to put the dwarves to war. Yeah, that's a terrible move. Don't do that.
Yeah,
Yeah, tough
that's quite funny
situation.
actually.
So North are thinking about war, and we collect. You have any thoughts before we move into the next round?
I guess. Well, I think yeah. I think when you see the rolls for the next round, there's quite an
Okay.
interesting conundrum there.
Yeah. So I get Ringwraiths are abroad, so I'm just drawing hot. All
That's
the cards I
beautiful.
need. Ents for you, little bit late, and King Brandsman 1 turn late.
Brands, man.
Ah,
And I had like a spare. I mean, there's a decision actually there. In that situation, do you use the Palantir or do you go into Mordor? Because King Brands there could prolong the game massively.
I would say yeah, because I mean I have 4 points showing, quote unquote. I mean I actually have 4 points.
Yeah,
Oh, I forgot I had Helm's
Lorien's
Deep.
looking.
Yeah, Lorien's tight. That does make
Lorien
it
looks like
harder.
if I was to draw like a mustering card in Lorien, I'd suddenly feel like significantly better about my chances in this game.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
As it is, it's going to fall sometime. Maybe I need to reinforce, but
yeah, I would be thinking like right now I'm probably okay if you were to draw like what's it called?
the Balrog
Orcs.
or
Yeah, the Balrog one. What's the one where you kill 2 dudes to make 2 elites?
Hill
Forgotten the name of
Trolls.
it. Hill Trolls, like a Hill Trolls,
Yeah,
something like that would really hurt.
honestly, even
Um,
the wargs, the half orcs and goblin
Half
men.
Orcs and Goblin Men, that would suck. An Olokai would really. Any forward mustering cards would really suck. But right now, I'm like, might be able to hold that.
Yeah, and then I draw Shadows in the Misty Mountains. So speaking of cards, uh, I,
Beautiful.
I basically don't miss with my draws. What do you end up throwing?
Yeah, because I
Probably the
think
Ents,
like
right?
equally like the Horde from the East, like that was the perfect time to get that draw because if
Yeah.
you go into Woodland Realm with what would it be like a 5-1 or a 4-1, it feels so
Oh,
much worse, and
yeah.
you're effectively like, wasting an army because if that fails, then you've got to spend loads to reinforce it.
Yeah, that
But
Easterling army, unless it gets hordes or many kings, is actually just way too small.
exactly, so it kind of that came at like a really good time.
You kill King Brands, not the Ents.
Yeah,
I guess
well, I was
Rohan
thinking,
might still use it.
I was
Yeah,
thinking I might need to hold on to Rohan at some point if you need an extra victory point. Having that ends on my sleeve could save me. Or if I get really desperate and I have to attack you, then maybe the Ents could come into play.
And I guess Gandalf's still not in play, and Orthank's all the way open. So
Yeah, and I thought, like, I mean, what was it like? I think it's unlikely I'm going to get the Dwarves to War and retake
nah,
Dale at this
yeah,
point. So I just thought, yeah, and Shield was unreliable anyway.
okay, cool. And then we go. So yeah, you made Mordor turn 5, end of turn 4. Uh, yeah, this game at this point was what, 25 minutes maybe.
Yeah, like this was the opposite of our last game. This was like an absolute speed run.
Hunt pools looking actually pretty safe. I mean, it's a lot of reveals, but you've certainly got the corruption to tank it. So it's just how fast can you run,
Yeah,
and away we
I'm
go.
kind of hoping that I've got. If I have 3 turns, then I fancy my chances. But if I can't, if
Yeah,
I think I probably need 3 turns, especially because I'm still on 4 dice.
still
That's the
on
real
four
issue.
dice, and
Yeah.
something that comes out of this. So I decide to not put like a billion eyes. Although that would have been an interesting turn to suddenly shift to a corruption. Because I
Yeah,
mean,
I
you
would 100% not do that. I would, if I was in your shoes, I would go full
continue the
steam ahead
race.
military here.
I mean,
Yeah,
if I
because
keep just putting like 5 eyes, if you hit an eye, but
yeah, it's
it's
true. But like, yeah,
unreliable.
even then, it's
Unreliable.
still like kill Strider, and like I go up to
5.
4 corruption.
Ooh, yeah.
It's like, yeah, or 5 corruption, and Boromir dies. It's like I'm cool with that.
Yeah. All right, 1 eye. No more rolled, so at least my strategy is all the one way, and you get a will. So now you have to pick between move slash hide and getting Gandalf.
Yeah. So because you've been through like a third of the strategy deck, I'm very wary of Day Without Dawn.
Yeah.
If I don't get Gandalf straight away, then that could be bad.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and even
But
if you even
equally,
if you
I'm
save
very
it,
wary. Yeah, like I think given I'm probably behind at this point, I think what I probably should have done is gambled on you not having Day Without Dawn and mustered the elves and
with the
then just
muster.
yeah,
Yeah.
just prayed and just gone for like sometimes you got to play the odds. There's still a 2 in 3 chance you don't have it, and then just have my cake and eat it basically.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'd forgotten the other aspect of this is, and you could even do something like put Gandalf in Lorien or something like that. We'll see if that ends up happening. But so I double checked the points. You do end up putting Gandalf in Lorien, so that's
Yeah, I feel like I need to buy time here. Putting him in Fangorn doesn't do much for me right now. I don't really care about getting rid of your dice that much. I need to live. Like
yeah,
living is more important than
yeah.
taking away one of your many dice when you're about to get the
A
mouth
10th,
anyway.
yeah, yeah. And I've got the musters to burn, so
Totally. So yeah, my priority was survival. Obviously it's risky, but Gandhi can cause chaos
yeah.
sometimes.
The Gandhi man can.
Oh,
Yeah,
the Gandhi man can. In retrospect, what I probably should have done, maybe. I don't know. I could have maybe mustered
muster
in
Woodland
Woodland
Realm and put him
Realm,
in Woodland Realm.
then put him in Woodland Realm.
Yeah, it's the farther to point to get guys for me, and
Yeah, it's harder for you to reinforce, although you do have a bigger army in there, and you can still get the mouth there easily. But it's harder for you to reinforce. Is the main thing.
yeah, yeah. And you're at that point you're basically gambling on put the North to war and do something.
Yeah, although having said that, it would be a 7 HP army versus a 1, 2, 3, 4, a 6. So you're putting Gandhi in a 6 HP army when you could put in a 7 HP army against a yeah, and you've
A
got more
smaller
guys there,
stack.
so I think it
Yeah,
makes sense to go Lorien,
yeah.
and also power to great defense Lorien as well.
Yep, yep, yep. So unfortunately for you, I cannot miss a draw. So before you reinforce, I empty all the Nazgul, all the places, and go ahead and put Woodland Realm under. I leave a guy in Dale
No
just so you
gauge.
don't retake from Karok when I'm not looking,
Oh yeah, that's true. I could have done something sneaky.
and it puts the Men of the North to war. So because there is a the Man of the North hiding in the Woodland Realm, so
Yeah, he loves
just
to do that. That guy.
yeah, yeah. You think for a bit, you pass, I go ahead and get the mouth, so obviously I'm going to go run him at Gandalf, and especially with Shadows in the Misty Mountains. So
Yeah, it's an unfortunate turn of events. Poor Gandhi's got it coming.
I go ahead and hit Woodland Realm to get those draws and see if I need to reinforce there for some mysterious reason. But strategy card, and this is where I burn the Deadly Strife.
Yeah, I mean that was great for the Deadly Strife. Yeah, perfect time to use Deadly Strife.
And I end up getting my 5. So even against the heroic death,
Yeah, just
down they
plows
go.
through the heroic death. That's the power of the Deadly Strife.
Pretty happy with that. So I'm at 7. I have Lorien under siege, a big Southron army ready to take Pelargir if we need. So getting tight. And then
I say this could be a very, very short game.
and this is sure, I remember my Witch King draw now, but yeah, and as we talked about, it's a tournament game. So, and then I say, well, it's fine. I don't need cards. Exhibit A. So you keep passing. So I decide that that's all I need, and it's a full stack anyway. So
Yeah, because I was thinking like there's a chance I might need to use these dice to defend rather than go for Mordor. I can't remember what I was thinking about doing. Maybe I was thinking about.
I mean, apparently I don't have Fellowship attack things, or I'm not going to play them, even if I have them. I mean, I have candles, but I'm not going to use it. So
I was vaguely considering like if I'd had better dice, like getting the Ministerial Army to Osgiliath, just so I can threaten a retake of Pelargir, like real desperation stuff. But in reality, I think I've got to move the Fellowship and just run at this point.
yeah, and you talk about that. Just pray Gandhi holds. So you hide with the Palantir. Yep, that makes thorough sense. Nothing else here was going to get. I mean, you have guards, but you'll have time for that later.
Yeah,
Pelargir
totally.
falls, but runs away.
Scoots away to Lamaden.
You go ahead and move. It's a 1 reveal, so I'm glad to get the reveal. Slow you down wherever I can.
Yeah, that's quite big.
Gondor's at war.
So I thought that you might
Yeah.
go for the victory here.
In Dol Amroth or in Lorien?
No, in Lorien. I thought
Yeah.
you might just try and smash it down, like move the army in, use the die, and just try and take down Lorien.
Yeah, I thought about it a little bit. I mean, I have a Dread and Despair, but that requires Nazgul leadership,
But
which I won't
Gandhi's
have.
going to cancel that. Yeah, you don't
And
have
they are
any cards, to be
terrible,
fair.
so
Yeah.
it'd just be 7 dice, including the reroll for 6s, against 4 dice with a reroll for 5s, and you can do cards. And I didn't,
Well, yeah,
I didn't like that.
And also, I cancel the leadership, so you can't even do that.
Yeah. Well, the mouth would have his 2 rerolls, but yeah,
Oh, yeah.
because
Play
he's
it,
hiding
one
in
more.
this stack here. So,
Sure.
and I figure, okay, I have a ring, I have an army. If I attack Lamadon, ring, or excuse me, a mouth to put Dol Amroth under siege, just 3 guys. Even if you have Imrahil or Círdan's, this probably takes it. I need to leave a couple so you don't take take Pelargir from Osgiliath, but I think I can do it. I have a decent shot at drawing into Corsairs at some point, or just retaking normally from Umbar. And if
Yeah.
you're spending dice retaking Pelargir, that's dice you're not spending elsewhere. I figured that was the chance. So I actually attack Lamadon, no card. I could spend a card here. I just figure I'll save him. But unfortunately, I miss again.
What were the odds?
And you retreat, but actually, I talk about. I don't think this was maybe the best idea. You miss. I end up not pressing. I'm not sure that was the
I
strongest
think
move, but
given I've got a muster in hand, and I'm going to go first next turn.
yeah. I mean, you'll make it a 4-1.
A 4-1, and I mean, probably odds still in your favor, but like if that goes badly, again, it's your armies are quite a long way away.
Yeah, Mordor hasn't moved out, but
Yeah,
that's
I was actually
4
thinking
dice
like
away or whatever.
there was a discussion around kind of achievements in
Yeah.
the chat the other day, and this I was noticing at this point. I think there's an achievement for
leaving
winning the
Mordor.
game without moving an army in Mordor or like taking anyone out of Mordor. I was like, that could really happen this game.
I was absolutely considering that. I was not going to go for it, but I was noting it was possible.
It was possible, yeah, yeah. Especially if you'd had the cards to go for Lorien, I think
I will.
that could
Oh,
have happened.
absolutely. So I end up not pressing, just because I figure I don't want to split myself down that way. We talk
Yeah,
about
and
your chances to dunk.
I think people might disagree with this, but the way I saw it was at the moment to win next turn. Even if I hide now, I need four clear movements.
Hmm.
And if you look at the pool, there's a
Yeah,
lot of reveal
you need to
tiles.
make
So like,
four moves. You have a Gandalf dice, so you can hide once in there somewhere with anything. But
yeah,
so you
but
need.
the odds are just so against me. The way I see it is that like if uh, I think I'm more likely to somehow survive next turn,
I agree.
um, and then defend a little bit with this hybrid, and then try and win the turn after next turn.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
if
I
I
think
leave
that's likely.
Dolamroth bare and you can just get into Dolamroth with like a three in there, if I don't roll any musters, like you could just totally wipe that
Yeah,
out
and
so
you
easily.
don't have Immerhill or Círdan's, so
Exactly. So I feel like, okay, I've got to try and do a little bit of defending because I just don't think I'm going to be able to get over the line next turn.
yeah, a tough choice. And you took your time thinking about it. Uh,
Yeah, yeah. I feel
I,
like there's a lot of kind of painful decisions in this game
yeah,
that all kind of suck.
yeah. I did while I was waiting, I looked at the statistics. I've rolled something like it was 7 dice twice against Lamadon. I've only rolled 60 dice. So it's like a third. This is a little closer to a quarter of my dice against that one guy in Lamadon this whole game. So
Because I guess most of the dice have been the hunt, right?
yeah, yeah. So
Crazy.
that's funny. So you go ahead and put the elite in, as we discussed. That makes sense. I go ahead and move out. I did think like, is there any way he does a stupid little go take Orthanc, take me to Smorgel, and I lose because I Yahtzee dies? No, I have a ring. Okay, but like I guess if a
Yeah,
Yahtzee
you have the ring
dies,
up your sleeve anyway. Yeah.
but I I was suddenly like, if this goes south, I'm so mad. But I figure I'm going to need a few more guys, if nothing else, to protect Pelargir while I go take DA, just so Minas Tirith doesn't come retake it. Edoras has actually defended enough. I don't feel confident in going for it. So, yep, collect the dice, and I draw into Lure of the Ring, which is going to be a nice for a combat
Nice.
effect. But and you get Elven Cloaks and Immerhill, so good draw.
So yeah, that's something.
Yeah, yeah, and I get Shadows Moving, which is actually really nice right now.
Yeah, I think I needed like a Hail Mary. I needed like a Celeborn's or a Power to Great even. I
Both
think
of
a
those would have been
Celeborn's would
pretty
be
good.
better than a Power to Great. A Power to Great's probably
Yes.
not going to be enough right now.
Yeah, assumably
Unless
I
you
just
had
have cards to burn, although
basically just hope that you didn't have any army cards.
yeah, yeah, and I
You
only
do.
have the one, so it was only,
Yeah,
something
so it
like a
wouldn't be
50-50.
crazy, but again, it's like a 1 in 18, 1 in 19 draw at this point. So it would have been a bit of a freak. I think in the first game I did have quite a few of those kind of relatively freak draws.
Mm.
So they just weren't coming for me in the second game.
And Immerhill's, certainly
It's
second
okay.
tier.
Yeah, I agree. I think for this situation, like it's kind of in terms of military, it's like the second tier down for like because it could come in useful.
Yeah. So you end up throwing Elven Cloaks. Interesting. As opposed to
Yeah, I
Gwai
thought
here.
every other card. I thought with Guai here, I could potentially,
Oh, it's something
if it
in.
comes down to it, actually not shine Gandhi and then try and block a card
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
because I'm only blocking two Nazgul at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. Good point. I put one eye in, roll just one more, so I continue to have excellent rolls for a race. And you get all the movement you could have wanted, but maybe not.
Yeah, I did get the first part of the dream,
Hmm.
but I still just think it's
It would have been
too
terrible
much.
risk, and if you hit 2 reveals on a hunt pool, that's half reveals. Yeah,
Yeah, on four moves, like it's the odds were just
yeah,
absurd.
yeah. So you go ahead and spend one. Obviously, I wish I had Day Without Dawn, but I don't. I clarify that Gandhi, because I'm looking where am I going to hit? Where's my other 2 points? And I think about putting the Witch King in Lorien just for the redraws. But again, I look at my cards and I have a swarm of bats, and that's it. I can't put anything more into Lorien.
And you're not going to have much of a reroll anyway if Gandhi shines in
Yeah.
um,
So I just figure,
Lorien.
okay, I have armies here. I have shadows moving. I have a billion moves. I'm gonna try and take Minas Tirith. So I end up playing shadows moving. So I move here to force a reaction and start emptying. And then I bring these West Rondor guys up just in case Dol Amroth comes to take Pelargir back. Just cut off all the exits, so to speak.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Because I was seriously thinking about, like, if push came to shove and I was desperate, I could play Imrahil of Dol Amroth and then use 2 attacks to take back Pelargir once you go into Minas Tirith.
Yeah.
But by moving the 7 down, I'm like, that just ain't worth it. I'm going to use up all my chances to move the Fellowship to, like, maybe take back Pelargir. So, like, that, as soon as I saw the 7 coming across, I was like, okay, that's not happening.
Yep. And I'm happy that I don't have to worry too much about Path of the Woses, although I was thinking about it. The fact that you haven't done it means you don't have it. So
yeah. Oh yeah, that's a fair point. I didn't think about that. Yeah, good point.
So you go ahead and muster the kind of the only reasonable thing with your cards. I go ahead and put you under.
Because I thought this way, at least it gives me the chance of playing guards and mustering.
Yeah. As always, I would have been tempted to. Yeah. As always, I would have been tempted to do field, but it's really just not a good idea.
What do I have there? Could I have fielded?
I mean, a shield wall, kind of, a heroic death charge, but you're not going to spend.
I think I would fancy my chances more once I'm in.
Yeah, with guards.
Although maybe you're right. Maybe I could have done a field battle.
If you valor and you
played shield wall, because then you might actually get some value out of shield wall.
Yeah.
Gamble it and then pray that it works out, and then use guards.
Yeah, because if you can take 6 hits, theoretically, 5 hits, and still be a full stack after guards.
Well, the problem is though, like, you still got that 7 just around the corner, like.
Yeah, and I have a billion attacks, so it's going to hit you.
And you've got so many attacks anyway, and like if that goes badly and I lose because of that, I'm going to be kicking myself. If you get like because you know what, often what happens is when you do that. You then play a Deadly Strife, and then it's like, oh crap, Deadly Strife rolling on 3s, not nice, not good.
Yeah, if I had maybe like 3 Palantirs, maybe you do it just because you think you can hold the round out.
Yeah, or if my army was just like, if the 2 guys from Osgiliath are in there, then I'd go for it.
Yeah, definitely. I leave a guy just so Osgiliath doesn't retreat to Lamadon and be a giant pill, and then I move Nazgul, so I just abandon Lorien. I keep it in my back pocket, but with Gandalf there, so a pass. I did think it'd be funny if Edoras
moving the Nazgul away doesn't hurt you, so
yeah,
it's not like you're actually weakening yourself.
Yeah, I did think it'd be funny. It wasn't a good move, but I did think it'd be funny if you rode just manually from Edoras. I guess you don't have a leader; you just have an elite. So never mind. That would have been not a thing.
Oh, yeah. Just rode them across. That would be quite cool.
I do a Osgiliath. I save my cards. All of the stuff here is unlikely to do anything, and even if I don't hit, I don't care. You're just going to retreat somewhere I don't care about. So,
yeah.
I only get 1. You hit 1 back. I press, and you actually stay, which surprised me, but it was a correct move for the same reason.
Yeah. What's that guy going to do? Maybe that 1 extra hit against your army helps me in the long run.
Yep. And you do get the 1 hit, so.
So, yeah. And that's what won me the game.
Faramir did his job. Showed his mettle. And there's another card that would have been great to have, Faramir.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, good old Faza.
So I go ahead and reinforce the 2 places. Just, okay, Pelargir's safe, and now I have a full stack for taking Minas Tirith. You play guards now. I have 2 presses. You can't risk me holding out.
That was it, if you have a really good first round and I don't play guards, I'm sat there going like, dude, why didn't you play guards? You lost because you didn't play guards.
Hit yourself a couple times.
Exactly. And plus it gives me an extra leader reroll, which can be pretty huge in these kind of fights.
Yep. So with these 2 stacks, I figure Lorien and Minas Tirith, I figure, okay, let's do the thing. And I
think you'd be very unlucky
cards. I have a Dread and Despair to open
one
with.
Of these down.
Yeah. So That's what I
Maybe if I
do.
had like daylights and stuff.
Yeah, or like a companion to start doing canceling my cards and stuff like that.
Totally.
But I
So,
Dread and
and this is
Despair.
perfect as well. The great use of Dread and Despair when you've got an overstuffed Nazgul.
Yeah, yep. And I do
The
miss.
interesting thing is here you have no strategy cards, so you kind of like you're committed to. So I can kind of read you to an extent. I was like, probably a Cruelest Death. Valor could be okay against that if I'm,
Mm,
but a Dread and Despair that's the against Valor is the worst thing. So maybe I should have considered that and played Shield Wall first instead.
yeah, it would have whiffed if it makes you feel better, but
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, it would have been rubbish.
so I stop draw. I have 3 dice that are worth attacks because of the mouth, and I have a ring. So I'm just gonna dig through the draw pile.
Yep.
I did say draw, and I drew into Palantir, so a Cruelest Death, excellent.
Now it's a Cruelest Death. Yeah.
You move the Fellowship, yeah, you got to
Got
reveal.
and there, so kind of at least that kind of vindicated my position as like, okay, I mean, I technically still could have got there, but am I really going to get 3 more moves without a reveal? Very unlikely.
Yeah, yeah. Minas Tirith round 2. I choose one of the cards. I choose They Are Terrible because it's just as good as Cruel as Death. Anything I miss on the initial hit gets the +1
Yeah,
effectively, and I get a pretty hot roll. So 4 hits. That's
yeah.
pretty good, and just
Get
one back.
one back.
That's even
So
better.
yeah, this is when I need to like be rolling hot as well, at least to try and
Thin me
make
down.
it so you have to reinforce or something. But it's not
I go ahead
happening.
and do a press draw because I've got 2 dice, so I'll get the draw here, and then if I want to stop, I can do another double draw.
Yeah,
I
that's
figure
nice.
a Foul Stench, another excellent for my scenario here. The They Are Terrible and Cruel as Death are better, but and I choose that They Are Terrible versus your Shield Wall.
Yeah, did I have a heroic death in my hand?
You did. The There Is Another Way.
Ah, yeah, okay.
So you're probably waiting that for
Oh,
the last.
I was trying to hold that for the Gandhi stronghold. Like that was I thinking, okay, if
Oh
they do go
yeah,
for Gandhi, that could save me.
yeah. I really don't think that would have
S-
worked out for me to hit that. So I'm glad I did this. Um,
Um,
I go ahead and then I get another excellent round of dice.
yeah,
So 4,
monster reroll.
and I do
That's
take 3 back. So, but now you're down to just 1 dice, and
just
so
one little man,
I go
one
ahead
soul
and
Gondorian.
press. I'm not sure if there was a thought process there, but I figure I'm gonna press this all the way down.
Yeah,
So
you gotta press, haven't you? Really, you
just in
gotta
case you
press.
have magic card, I don't know what it would be, but
I
maybe
need
you've held
magic. I
Path
need
of the Woes
magic.
till
You
right
having bad
now.
dice rolls. That's what I need.
Yeah, and I guess Path wouldn't even work. So I do it.
Oh, that's
Press
true. I
again.
imagine if I had been holding Path of the Woses. Imagine
Yeah,
if
but
I'd
it
had that
goes
on my
adjacent
sleeve.
anyway. So
Oh, you're right. Of course. No, wait, no, not if I'm alive.
oh,
If I'm
does it
alive, it
goes
goes
into the
into Minas
stronghold?
Tirith. I
Oh
think so.
man,
Yeah,
that'd have been
that
that'd
would
have
have
been the
been.
hold.
Yeah, so that justifies the press 100%.
So you play the heroic death, obviously, and I play the
Gotta
cruel as
play it.
death.
It hurts to
Yeah.
play it, but I'm not going to get down to goal in this game anyway, so it doesn't
No.
feel as bad.
Yep. And I get the hits. So even through
And
the heroic death, that's GG.
GG, man, GG.
It was
And
tight.
yeah, I mean, like I said this to you before we started recording, but I think you just played it perfectly with what you had.
Well,
Like
thank you.
you made it almost so it was. I mean, you know, you had good cards, but you had to play them in the right. You had to have the right strategy as Shadow, and like the strategy you had just worked out to a T. You know, taking down Rivendell, going for Helm's Deep, not being tempted to try and take over the whole of Rohan, because if you'd done that, that's where you could have lost the game. I
I would have
think.
surely lost the game at that point. Because
Yeah.
I don't have a
So
round to spare, and I would have lost a round there.
yeah, totally. And yeah, that's it. You know, you waste one round, and maybe I can, if it goes really badly, maybe I can take back Helm's Deep, or I can go and get Orthanc, and give you a headache there. You went for Rivendell at just the right time. You went for Woodland Realm at just the right time. Like it all just you made all the right decisions, and you made it so like I don't really know what I could have done. Like if anyone's watching, I'd love to hear any suggestions. But I don't really see and the way the dice came and the cards came. Like there wasn't really a moment where I could have separated people
Yeah,
in an
your cards were
effective
quite
way.
terrible. Yeah, you would
Like,
have had to have predicted that I was going to go for Minas Tirith, and
Tirith,
then
yeah.
give a
And then
whole
given
round
up the
of not.
chance to go into Mordor,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So that's not really a thing.
That's it. I mean, maybe I could have but then I'm thinking about mustering Rohan more, but like I would have at
With
best got
what?
an army
Yeah,
similar sized to your army, and I would have been using. I didn't roll them any hybrid on this game. Actually, do you mind
correct,
having a looking at
correct.
the
Yeah,
dice?
yeah. Let's see if I can pull them up. Sometimes they don't play well. Yeah, there we go. So,
Oh, I can't see them on my screen, but
uh, so it's I'm -2 on sixes. You're -1 on sixes, but +1 on. So you're dead
so I
even on
guess you
hits
had
for
really
free.
bad dice in the hunt, but you had solid dice in combat mostly.
For
It
the
felt
most part.
like
Well, and I think there's a couple rounds. So I missed
you had a few dud
Pelargir.
rounds, didn't you? Yeah.
So I missed Pelargir twice with
Oh
seven
yeah,
dice, and
Pelargid Lamadon was terrible. Like the
yeah,
one fight where it doesn't matter at all.
yeah. So of my 108 dice, 14 were fighting Lamadon, and I did have one full round in Minas Tirith where I missed all 10.
Okay, okay.
So
So
a
that's
quarter of
yeah,
my dice were just flat miss battles. But
sure,
then
sure.
those last three sets of dice, I was rolling sixes like no tomorrow. So, and I've been hot on armies. I'm low on eyes, which has definitely helped. And you're low on wills. Gandalf was a little late, no matter what he says.
Yeah, I mean, but I think even Gandalf being late, like he wasn't actually given when he died. He wasn't that late. I think it was like 2 turns after he died, like
Yeah, yeah.
maybe.
So he's
It was more the
expected
fact that
amount
like
late.
when Gandalf arrived, it was also when I had to muster in. I think if I made one, like probably, I think my biggest mistake was probably not mustering in Wooden Realm and
Mm,
gambling on the day without dawn. But even that can backfire, and you still
yeah,
absolutely rinse Wooden Realm with the Deadly Strife. So
yeah,
that might have just been destroyed anyway.
yeah.
So, but yeah, like all credit to you, man. Like I think you played it fantastically
Well,
well.
thank you, thank you. Well, that does make it tied up. So we did end up. This game ended up being, I think, 45 minutes top to bottom of actual gameplay. So we did end up playing the third game. That's in the can. We will need to cast that at some point. We don't have time yet today. So uh, we're going to put that on Generic Pie's channel, I believe. And you can look there for the next one. I would say somewhere in the next week or two.
Yeah, man. Yep. So that was a pretty exciting game, I'd say.
Yeah, yeah, a good time. And make it 1-1. Get that third game. That's good to know. So, all right,
Indeed,
everybody.
indeed.
Have a good evening, and I'll see you in the next one.
See everyone. Bye bye.